Go, 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 shorty. It's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give cause that's your birthday. You can find me in the club, full of mama, I got what you need. If you need to fill up, I'm in the habit, I ain't in the making. So come give me a hug, get in the getting. You can find me in the club, full of mama, I got what you need. If you need to fill up, I'm in the habit, I ain't in the making. So come give me a hug, get in the getting. When I pull up out front, you see the Benz on dub. When I roll 20 deep, it's always drama in the club. Now that I roll with Dre, everybody show me love. When you sell like Eminem, you get plenty of groupie love. Look, homie, ain't nothing changed. Rolls down, G's up. I see exhibit in the cutting, man. Running, man. Watch how I move, you mistake before I play up. Been hit with a but I don't walk with a limp. In the hood, in the lady saying 50, you hot. They like me, I want them to love me like they love pop. But holla in New York, for show to tell you I'm local. And the plan is to put the rap game in the choke. I'm fully focused, man. My money on my mind, got a meal out the deal, and I'm still in the grind. Now shorty says she feeling my style, she feeling my flow. A girl from Wooded, they ready to find me in the club. Full of mama, I got what you need. If you need to fill up, I'm in the habit, I ain't in the making. So come give me a hug, get in the getting. You can find me in the club.
And it says, and there are others known and unknown who are co-conspirators. So there's no issue on charges of specific strategic decisions made by the Honorable Bonnie Willis at all for office. So I am going to object to DA Sprinkle. I do believe that the state of Georgia was attempting to, probably did, say what a great job they do by reviewing all these cases and not letting the indictment go out, which may be true. That's how it should be. That's what we demand of our prosecutors, but it doesn't really come into this case, so I stand on our objections to the cases that they said.
Don't know how to respond to that. John, I was just going to point out again that ways that questions have been taken have been allowed to speak. What experience and what is standard operating procedure is, and to show method and procedure by which you obtain the information that you need to do. All right, well, I gave instructions yesterday.
This is the NFL on EA Sports. We're 10 miles south of downtown LA.
So, are we ready? I know the jury's ready.
SoFi Stadium here in Inglewood.
That was great. You go ahead and get Mr. Sprint back.
So pleased to have you along. This should be a good one. We're set.
All right, so the jury is filing in.
Here
Sprint
on
is coming
EA
in on the
Sports.
stand.
He's across the 20, taken down just shy of the 25.
Rating. They didn't generate.
So here's a 1st and 10 now. They'll start from the 24. That's caught by Chandler.
Okay, so it looks like they're trying to generate a super link for the doctor.
Gain of 10 and a quick 1st down.
Every once in a while, it just comes down to you need somebody in the huddle to just make a play. And There wasn't a whole lot fancy here. The quarterback just dumps the ball down, a quick underneath completion, and then really it's the yards after catch that did the rest. And that's what it takes. You're not always going to have the perfect play. You're not always going to dial up the perfect play against the perfect look. Sometimes
so they're still trying to figure out the
plays,
lead situation.
That was a good one there.
Looks like they're trying to get status
Come
on
to the line
that.
now
You can
on
get
2nd and 2.
Thank you. Sprinkle is such a Chad. Well, here's how it was case
Back to the
file.
line of scrimmage, but will not happen here.
Here we go.
I think he's going to lose a yard. After that incomplete pass, we have a player shaken up. As the athletic training staff looks at him, we'll step away for a moment. They'll come up to 3rd and 3. McCarthy from the gun here on 3rd down. And on 3rd down, that ball incomplete.
Remember what they told us, Mike, leading up to this game? They said it is so critical for us to find success, especially on 3rd down. We want to maintain possession, extend these drives. Well, the first crack comes up and they fail through the air, and we're going to have to regroup and be able to have better success throughout the remainder of this game.
Will we broke on
What a
yesterday?
call on this opening drive. They're going to go
I
for
believe
it
that
on
the
4th
last
down.
question that I asked you was how it was
On
that
4th
you
down, here's McCarthy.
went about targeting what
Open man,
phone
right
numbers
side.
to
He's got it.
listen to when you
It's
are
a pickup of
investigating
14.
or conducting an
And the
independent
decision to go
investigation
for it pays
of
off.
unindicted
Well, you can
cases.
see the entire sideline and, frankly, the entire fan base kind of holding their breath. That decision on your own side of midfield to go for it on 4th down, had they not gotten it, that's a tough position to put your defense in, but
already
it's a
out the gate
conversation
first
for another
of
day.
the
The
day.
offense is going to stay on the field after the conversion, and now they got to see, can they take advantage of that aggressive play call and finish this drive with points?
Trey Benson, the intended target. And it'll bring up 2nd down.
Interesting.
They'll fake the give, and now it's McCarthy.
Mr. Sprinkle, where
Now
is it
he'll
that
air
you get
one out. And that is brought
the
in.
information from?
And he's into
What
the end
number
zone.
to look for?
Touchdown, Vikings. It's his 2nd touchdown of the year. On now for the extra point, here's Will Riker.
So there's a few areas. The first is looking at the numbers that the inmate called and running each number individually to see which numbers the inmate actually called versus which numbers another inmate called using that inmate's pen. That's the primary way. But the other way is I would, if I had, for example, from intelligence that's gathered during the investigation, for example, if phone records, cell phone records, were obtained by the investigator or by me, however they were obtained, I'll go through, for one of the parties involved in the case, I'll go through them and I'll generate a list of phone numbers from those phone records. And what I'm trying to do there is run every phone number that occurs in a party event of phone records through the jail calls. Because I'm not oftentimes just looking for phone calls from people that have been actually charged with the crime. I'm also looking for phone calls from people that may know something about the crime and that those phone calls are placed to those people in close temporal proximity to the homicide or event that I'm interested in.
And how do you speak about the fact that there are some calls that are made off-gen and some calls that are not? How do you determine when a call is made by a person that you are actually seeking to gain information from?
There's a number of factors that go into that. One of the most basic, easiest to explain would be I just recognize the voice. If we're talking about the inmate, like if I want to verify that it is in fact an inmate that I'm interested in that's placing the call, then I just
develop a familiarity with their voice through various means. Wherever I can find a known exemplar of their voice, then I listen to that and I learn their accents and the tone and tenor of their voice. And that based on a few other things, like, for example, how often the inmate customarily calls to someone. If I know that that number belongs to somebody, if it's a close family member or friend of the inmate, then that's another thing that is kind of an indicia of reliability that is, in fact, calling that number. But I think the primary thing is just knowing your voice.
Is it a common practice to once you have done these things that you prescribe for the jury, for you to then talk to people that have not been identified?
Look middle, and he's got his man complete. A gain there of 11. First down, LA. Out of the shotgun, Mayfield.
Is it a common practice?
And he can't hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. What a good job defensively to meet him just as the ball was arriving. And it'll be second down.
They told us this week they were going to
Now,
try
when
to
you
come
do
out
that,
fast.
is that something
Tell you
you
what,
do
that's
alone,
exactly
or
what they did. Put immediate pressure on the secondary and let them know, hey, all game long
A
today, we
combination.
better defend every blade of grass because we're coming out firing. And even though that ball falls incomplete, it goes a long way in setting up the rest of this game plan as the game unfolds.
Further investigating things.
Third down and 9.
When you actually do locate a person, and
Throwing is Baker. That's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Emmanuel Forbes.
Generally, if not invariably, always, I, at the very least, record the interview unless it occurred in such a circumstance where that was not possible, such as at random and it was unplanned. But if it's an interview or that I'm actually planning, then I would record the audio recording of the interview. Unless I don't believe I've ever actually had an occasion where the audio recorder failed, so I wouldn't even say barring the audio recorder failing. So yes, I would.
Do they have enough to dig their way out?
And you also provide something to the file.
The kickoff team is out on the field, and we're back to it.
Yeah, not in every case, but particularly if it was a case in which I did a lot of extra investigation, then I would mind.
Special teams comes through again. We don't talk about it nearly enough, but sometimes the biggest plays of the game happen, like that one. The kickoff return, fumble, recovered, and momentum swings again.
Everybody loves to see a big return, but the priority of any kick return unit, just
in my estimation, if the case needed more investigation, if it needed extra file, I found that the evidence was lacking, and it wouldn't be appropriate to present the case to a grand jury, let alone take it to trial. Then I will conduct a quote-unquote extra investigation, as I called it, hoping to find more evidence. It's better or otherwise expose the case appropriately.
DJ Jones,
What about
the big
people
defensive
that
tackle,
can
with the stop.
Ever go out.
Early big play here. They're going to go for it on fourth down.
Take the statement given to you each time, and all you have to do is save or discover endeavor to just within yourself.
Working out of the shotgun, it is McCarthy. And that is not going to work. Incomplete. They turn it over on downs.
All right, Mike, so in a situation like this, I would love to see the quarterback take first down. I don't need a touchdown. I need a fresh set of downs. I need to keep the chains moving and give me more opportunities to hopefully end this drive with a touchdown.
So now a timeout for the Vikings. That is their first.
Makes other decisions for it. It goes to how it's allowed to engage its practice in
First and 10.
a little bench cover.
The motion man is Nakua.
Get all that. You guys see that she's getting hit with rejection because she's still not asking targeted questions.
Caught Robbie Chosen on the ground. And he is out of bounds on the other side of midfield.
Wow, what a necklace.
8 yards
What
on
the
the
hell?
first play of the drive. First
That
down
is a
and
lot.
10.
I was gonna say that actually, but this outfit wasn't bad. DDA sprinkle.
Throwing is Mayfield. Crushed, it's incomplete. He did get the pass off, but he got
Detective
drilled
Thorpe
before he let it go.
on the case involving the
Try
murder
again,
of Donovan
it's
Thompson.
Second and
I
10.
did.
And in working with Detective
Back
Thorpe,
to the
he
air,
called
it's
for the
Mayfield.
department.
That is caught down.
It would have been late 2015 or in early 2016.
On the connection. Good for
Did you
a
document
Rams
when you
first
received
down.
the case file
They've done a
from
nice job
Detective
spreading
Thorpe
the ball around.
and
Make
a
the defense have
memorandum
to
or
account
report
for
that
as
you
many
provided
different weapons
as part of
as
the case
possible
file?
here early.
Yeah, it'd probably be this
Think back to our
report.
conversation with this
Well,
coaching
anyways,
staff,
this
Mike.
report right
They
here that I brought
identified
to
this
stand
guy as
is
someone they needed to
140
get
page.
involved early and often. So that might be
Yeah, I
his
believe
first
that's the
target.
case.
I don't think
Yep,
it's going to be his
140
last.
pages.
And
A
did you
couple of big plays,
look
one
at that
after the other, and now it's
memory about
first and
this
goal.
one?
And he got rid of that one quickly before the receiver.
Yeah,
even
right
knew
here.
what
In
was
fact,
going on.
January
That's
2016.
incomplete.
It's the first four words
The biggest
of the
issue and
report.
why they find themselves trailing in this game, Mike, has really just been
Once
the
you
ups and
receive the
downs
case
of this
file
passing
from
game.
Detective
That
Thorpe,
sometimes is highly accurate and
without
efficient, but at
real
others,
quick, huge
he
shout
just
out to
misses too many
TRT who
easy
says, looks
throws.
like Whitaker
The
is
question
finally
are
learning
they
how
gonna
to be
able
fair to the
overcome
defense.
this
But
quarterback
I
inconsistency and pull this game out?
hopes up. You know, that's actually a really good point, TRT. I'm surprised. I thought that she was going to send Little B to prison, but it looks like she wants the medium option, where, you know, in the middle, not sending him back to prison, but also not letting him go home. Like, they need to come to some medium. So that seems cool, right? The other thing is she threatened to put love and contempt if she continues to not get her work done in time. If she asks you to do something, the judge is like, you need to do it. It's not a choice. So, you know, you can never tell TRT, but thank you so much for the super generous.
14-0 is our score. And we're back at
Going
SoFi
into
in
what was
SoCal
said by
after
the
this.
person. Did you notice a witness or identify a witness that you wanted to
I did.
Who was that person?
Spencer Wright, a.k.a. Nicholas Robinson.
All right. Now, Spencer Wright, first of all, why did you think
Because well, that was a name he provided contemporaneously with an October or September 2015 arrest, I believe.
So on comes Joshua Carney to
Of
try
himself.
this field goal.
And is
This one is good. He knocks it through.
a person
And the Rams get their first points of the game. They trail 14-3.
from it.
Both teams
He
ready
did.
to go once more
So,
as
if
the
there was
kicks
a
away.
statement by that person already
Ty Chandler now to bring it back.
why?
He'll work his way across the 25-yard line.
I follow questions. I had more questions, follow-up questions, things that, other questions that after reviewing the case file that I had that hadn't been previously asked by the Atlanta Police Department.
Little play action here with McCarthy. That one just kept getting worse and worse until finally they bring him down.
Yes. Objection, relatives.
How did you locate Spencer Robinson, a.k.a. Spencer Wright?
Spencer Wright was an
Spencer Wright.
Spencer Wright was an inmate at the Atlanta City Jail located next door to the public safety headquarters at 226 Peachtree Street, which is like 2 blocks away.
Work to do now as they come up on 2nd and long.
Well, I don't recall exactly. I knew that that's where they housed him after he was arrested in October of 2015. Somebody told me, I'm sure, that that's where he was, or my investigator found that's where he was. At any rate, that's where he was.
There's a reason certain guys might just always seem to be open. It's really because route running is more art than it is science. How do you manipulate the defense to find open spots or win versus man to create separation and earn the trust of your quarterback?
Kenneth Copeland, Antonio Sledge, Demiki and Darlington, Shannon Jackson.
Shannon Jackson.
Shannon's still along.
It's a first down.
Did have surveillance video, had a written report drafted by the lead, among other things, but the things were the written report drafted by Detective Jim Thorpe Jr. of the Atlanta Police Department, surveillance video depicted the incident, another surveillance video from the gas station. I believe I had that in the case file as well. Crime scene photos may have been in there, although I do recall any more at some point later, but and audio from interviews, cell phone records. I don't recall every single thing that I had. I didn't obtain the entire case file immediately because I recall throughout the course of my work on this case, consulting with other investigators at ABD and obtaining little pieces of the case file as I went along. But
on 2nd down, Mayfield.
Yeah.
Hit as he threw it, and the pass is incomplete.
Let's give credit to that pass rush for making their presence felt, and although it didn't result in a sack,
regarding the photo of Donovan Thompson, I had audio interviews from some of the people that, if not all of them, Detective Thorpe interviewed as part of his investigation and his report, and surveillance video.
Mayfield to throw. And this is going to be incomplete. That's great work to get in there and make things difficult defensively.
Well, I guess it's how you define case file. I had what Detective Thorpe provided me. But there were other investigators at APD that had been working on this matter. And so I...
And he is going backwards. Good coverage there to make sure he...
Right, I remember in particular, there was a lot of cell phone records that I obtained from another investigator that I did not obtain from Detective Thorpe. And I did specifically, when I say another investigator, I'm talking about Tyrone Nichols.
They'll come up here, 1st and 10.
Now, if you could.
Now McCarthy. Here's a screen set up for Benson. And he will not get away. Terrific open field tackle. Gets him down behind the line.
Well, I met with Detective Dennis.
With Benson.
Yeah, sometime in early 2016. No, I believe it was Detective Dennis and Lakia Gaither, and I met them at the Atlanta Police Department's public safety headquarters in a large conference room.
Looking to throw. McCarthy. Deep ball downfield for Sherfield. And he's going to be taken down inside the 40-yard line.
When you first got...
Well, he certainly didn't look like a rookie on that long completion. Like not only his ability to scan the field and find his favorable matchup, but he was able to hit his downfield target in the perfect spot that led to that big gain.
And he's pushing tacklers away as he takes it forward for a gain of 9.
Yes.
A good spot here, 2nd and a yard.
That you knew personally about it.
Man in motion is Smith.
That makes decide.
Oh, and the rookie puts it on the deck. It's a fumble.
Are you asking me, do I personally know the defendant? People that police charge? No, I did not know.
the first 15 minutes of every offensive practice is ball security circuit, and that could be a combination of multiple things. How to go to the ground without getting loose to the ball, almost like the art of falling. It could be running over bags or through bags.
It would have been in October 2015 on the night of the draft.
There are so many ways to simulate what the game is like, because at the end of the day, if you want to win in the NFL, protecting the ball is the #1 priority, and it cannot be stressed enough.
That immediately have to talk.
On first down is Mayfield.
So
Good effort there defensively.
Spencer Wright was arrested on October 19, 2015, the same day the night that Detective Thorpe, among others, interviewed him. And the warrants, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I were taken on October 20th, 2015. For the four defendants I referenced earlier for murder, for the murder charge.
Best play call.
Cooper Kupp was the intended receiver. Down coming up.
So there was a surveillance, or what I recall, 2 surveillance cameras mounted on the barbershop located at 330 McDaniel Street. And then you went about maybe 100, maybe not even 100 yards away. There was a gravel lot in the street. There's a Texaco Stadium, McDaniel Northside Drive, and I had surveillance and the district at the station.
Well, a chance to get right back in it here. First down, and
Yes, I've been to that location before.
into the end zone. Touchdown, Los Angeles. The extra point from Cardi is good.
Yeah, I drove by there a couple of times, a few times, as I looked over the cases to get the lay of the land, because you can only see so much cooler.
The team is out on the field, and we're back to it as the kicks away. Chandler now to return it.
I drove down the street, I would stop, and
as he takes it across
get
the
a kind of,
30-yard line.
rather than the 2D perspective that you can get on, like I said, Google Earth, I wanted to just kind of see where all the buildings were situated, that kind of thing. I mean, I didn't get out and like linger around, get out of my car and like linger around or anything like that. I didn't really see any reason to do that. But yeah, I did like survey the crime scene.
So they come to the line for first down and 10.
Again, just because it's one thing to look at a
Throwing
scene
now, it's
on a screen where you can get some three-dimensional perspective from the images. It's quite another to actually be at the scene and not be staring at it in 2 dimensions from a computer screen. Yeah, you get to see where somebody's view would be obstructed, depending on where they were standing, that kind of thing.
This has been bizarre. From second and a mile, a huge game, but still short of a first down.
So often sacks, especially on first down, can be drive killers. But their ability here to take this from second and long to third and short, they've got a really good opportunity here, Mike.
Well, I mean, it's important to see where the crime actually occurred. Sometimes, particularly if it's like in an apartment complex, going out to the scene, you can do a witness canvas, start knocking on doors. I didn't do it in this case because this occurred on a public thoroughfare. But yeah, anywhere where there's homicide, where there's a lot of people, like pretty much an apartment complex or a neighborhood, that could be beneficial. I did. Well, Google Earth, in this specific case, I went to Google Earth because I did eventually end up interviewing Spencer Wright myself. Right, and right, well, I'm not even going to get into what he said. I just went to Google Earth to take still shots of images that were photographed by the Google Earth vehicles, I guess, just so I could show them to him and say, okay, well, where were you at this time when you said you saw this, etc.
he offered a verbal description of where he was.
Did you capture whatever it was that you could
I did.
Were you able to locate an area that coincides with or match the area? Right.
Back to the topic in case you forgot it. Anonymous head bobbing, baby, keep that popping.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I found an area that I believe fraud, yes.
Being on some chill, we go 0 to 100 real quick. They be on that rap to pay the bills, and I don't feel it.
Well,
Not even a little bit. Oh Lord, know yourself.
specifically, because the area that I believe he described was also captured by the surveillance camera that captured the incident. So if Mr. Wright was where I believe he was based on what he said, then it would be in the surveillance footage. I would see him, or a human-like figure. Given the clarity of the surveillance footage, it wouldn't have been sufficient to actually make out his face, but I would have at least expected to see that.
Los Angeles, California.
I did not.
Did you only capture that area?
Lurching closer toward the midway point of this NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports.
I did. This would have been January 12th of 2016.
Where did you see?
The Atlanta City jail.
Now, was Mr. Wright being held on felony or misdemeanor charges?
The probation violation on a felony case.
Now, did you offer anything to Mr. Wright in exchange for?
Am I seeing this correctly?
I did.
They brought out the field goal team here.
Has, to your knowledge, anything?
And his kick here is good.
To Mr. Wright.
The Rams have the first points here. It's 3-0. In the end, the opening drive turns as you that's maybe not the touchdown that they wanted, though.
Yeah, but bottom line, they wanted to get something out of that drive, and they did that. 3 points, they won't turn that down at all.
Not by me.
Was there any made by anyone associated? Any knowledge?
No, not to my knowledge. I have absolutely no information to indicate that ever happened.
The Minnesota offense about ready
The
to get
aforementioned,
this next drive
the investigator I mentioned yesterday, David White.
Two-game winning streak into this Thursday nighter. And he's free going down the left side.
How long? Do you remember how long?
Maybe like an hour. I audio recorded it, so however long the audio recording is how long I met with him. Well, for in relevant part. And I audio recorded the entire thing. It was probably 45 minutes to an hour and a half, I would expect. I did not. In fact, I brought a voice recorder no, I just brought a phone.
Minnesota's kick team ready, and the Vikings boom it away.
It was actually in a pod, like an inmate dorm at the Atlanta City jail where Investigator White and I interviewed him. And there was like a little, like a break-off room to the side of the pod. We just met him there. There was a table and chairs in there, and we just talked to him.
And were any other inmates around like present?
They weren't in the room with us. I don't recall if they were out and about in the dorm. But yeah, there were other inmates. I don't recall that any of them were within earshot of us.
And this is going to be spotted inside the 25-yard
I don't know. Certainly nothing happened during the interview that alerted me that somebody was listening in. I'll leave it at that. And I don't recall having a feeling at the time that, because I believe I would have. That would have left an impression on me if I thought that others were eavesdropping. I didn't have any feelings of that sort while I was in the interview.
And the Vikings are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Point after, right down the middle. And that pushes the lead up to 11.
I don't know exactly how many.
Minnesota's kick team ready, and the Vikings boom it away.
Yeah, probably 15 to 20.
This one out, he'll go down to a knee, and they'll begin the drive at the 30.
Probably more like 10 to 15, actually. It's somewhere around there. It was less.
Ready to go for their next drive. I would say they went 3 and out last time, but actually they didn't even get to 3 and out. Still a strange decision. There he goes, right side.
Yes, it was Google Earth still shots that just depicted the scene, and still shots from the barbershop surveillance footage.
Starting with the Google Earth still shots.
Guys, this is latest news on Darius Zachary. I know we're a little bit behind in the feed, but it appears that he is going to be released from a hospital today. So if he is released today, that is likely that he will testify today or on Monday. Just wanted to give you guys that quick update.
What did you do with those still shots?
I printed them out prior to going into the interview.
And when you showed them to Spencer Wright, given that they weren't from the actual night of the murder, what were you doing?
Well, given that the scene had remained, from the time the murder happened to the time that the Google Earth vehicle photographed the scene had remained unchanged. In other words, the lay of the land was essentially the same. My objective was for Mr. Wright to identify where both he was and other parties were at various times during when he witnessed the incident.
Probably feels like a disappointment.
So,
to the air with McCarthy, going for the deep ball. And that's caught inside the 35. Touchdown, Vikings.
Yes, he did.
74 yards. And the Vikings are able to strike quickly here.
And was that area also captured in the surveillance?
Extra point right down the middle.
It was.
Makes it a 21-10
now,
game.
was the lighting on the Google Maps images that you showed him as it was on the night of the murder that was captured?
Minnesota's kick team.
No, because the Google Maps images were captured during daylight hours, whereas the homicide occurred during just after nightfall and during twilight.
Were there any identified landmarks here in
set to begin their next drive, the Rams offense at the line. Well, partner, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play to get into the
It was located at a bus stop. Where's the bus stop? Across the street from 330 McDaniel Street.
About how far?
However wide the street is, I don't know, 30 yards, 40 yards.
Second down.
Because it wasn't like directly across the street. I mean, it was sufficient that it was captured within the surveillance footage, but it was kind of, I guess it depends on how you define it. It was definitely across the street, but if we're going through the front door of the barbershop, it wasn't directly across the street from the front door. It's kind of like diagonal.
Just short,
Yeah.
so it'll be third and less than a yard. Charles, Thursday night game, I think a lot of teams probably say shrink the playbook somewhat. Is that correct?
I think you're right about that because you just don't have the amount of time that you have in a normal week to put in a full playbook. So as you said,
Were you interested in looking at a particular time on the surveillance footage after listening to Mr. Wright's interviews and speaking to him?
I was.
And what particular time were you interested in looking?
Well, time is in a constant here because
He's over 100 here.
and then there's the timestamp on the video, which is Jeopardy.
Okay. And so let's start with the time. If it's different time on the video, how do you feel about finding
Mayfield to throw it.
Well, I'm watching the video. In this case, you have a surveillance video. The incident of which we're speaking is extremely prominently featured when you watch that video, so I can just watch the video and wait for that incident to occur, and that's what I do. The portion of the video that I was viewing was relevant insofar as it the incident, regardless of the timestamp and place they're on.
He is taken down at the 21 after a short gain of 2. This defense for the Vikings, they were terrific a week ago in that win over Detroit.
This defense certainly has a lot to be proud of coming off of last week's game because when you only give up 14 points in a contest, you give your team a great chance to win. The best defense in the league is usually going to
like if it's about, like I said, across the street, not directly across the street, but probably across the street, maybe 20 to 30 yards to the right if you're facing across the street from the barbershop.
Did Mr. Wright recognize the bench?
8th play of the drive forthcoming, and they need 8 yards on 3rd down. Working out of the gun, Mayfield.
All for hearsay and also confrontation.
And that was certainly an aggressive call and an aggressive play. Instead of just going for the first down, took the shot in the end zone, went for the touchdown.
And on 3rd down, they said, forget about the sticks. We want 6. And his kick is good. So he's been automatic to this point of the season, and he connects on the field goal here.
And what a luxury it is to have a kicker you can depend upon.
No, there were no human-like figures around the bench. I saw a cat.
On that one as well.
Like it looked to be a cat.
You didn't jinx him.
Yeah, that's what struck me. It wasn't real high fidelity, but it was enough. The fidelity was sufficient to see a feline moseying around the bench, but I wasn't. But there was unambiguously there were no people around the bench.
Did you check the surveillance maybe after and then before the murder?
Oh yeah, I'm sure I did. I watched that footage many times. Of course, the most relevant period to me was the time when the incident actually occurred. But no, I didn't see it at that time.
Charles, this
and how many times did you
2 drives ago they scored. Remember
I didn't keep count, but it would have been many.
Looking to make it 3 for 3.
You know, I talked to
150. It was many times.
These types of things are happening to you. What goes through your mind? And he told me at that point, it's not about schemes. It's not about what's called from the sideline. It's about players.
Every time I watched, I was hoping to see something maybe I hadn't noticed before. The way the light bounces off one of the vehicles, because that was a big part for me. I wanted to figure out what sort of vehicles we were dealing with here. I actually had the video enhanced at one point because, like I said, the video wasn't very high quality. So yeah, I had to kind of try to fill in the blanks myself. That's why I reviewed it so many times. And also, just I always would hope. A lot of times it would probably just be in utility, but I would always hope to see something I hadn't seen before.
Didn't get it done there.
Now, when you said you had the video, would you tell the jury
Throw right side, complete to Williams.
I set up the private.
Maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
Target, like the retail store, they have a division within their company that deals with surveillance footage. And they, at the time, maybe they still do, but they, at the time, they would digitally enhance surveillance videos. And there was another gentleman named Mr. Pineda on the same service. He was an individual.
The turnover put him in great field
John,
position.
just,
You don't want to squander it with third
I guess the
down
more the better.
And you know what else you do? You make your defense mad.
Yeah.
They got you the football, gave you a great opportunity. You got to cash in and get some points.
They had the incomplete pass on second
A little
down.
bit.
Now
Yeah,
they
it helped a
need
little
big
bit.
play
It's
here,
it's
3rd and
digital.
10.
And I'm by,
From
so
the shotgun, it's Mayfield.
there's really only so much they can do to clean it up. It's just 1-0. But they are programs that can, I guess, kind of filter out some of the noise from the picture and that kind of thing. That they did, so it helped a little.
They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
And this is one of the toughest parts about being a defensive back. When a play breaks down like this, you're taught to plaster to a receiver. Find the nearest one and adhere yourself to it.
It is your honor relative.
So long if the play continues to develop.
It is actually, I think it's the only case of
You
that.
do not. And down here, 1st and goal, if it's not
Because the video was so important, and I really needed
so that's a
to.
wise move to get rid of it.
So they've been
Like
in the
good
red
at that
zone
video.
3 times, and it's yielded just 3 points. Can they find the end zone here on
Now,
2nd and
this,
goal?
when you say the video was so important, was this particular.
They'll run. Here's the rookie from Michigan. And he gets halfway there from the 6 to the 3 on a gain of 3. 2 straight shots on the ground.
No, it wasn't any more for any case. It got more attention because, for my purposes, it's simply unsolved. Right, I got it. And so that elevates the priority of any homicide case. I wouldn't say priority is the right word. It really is. It's just the amount of time that I'm going to spend on it certainly goes way up.
And he's going to take this one.
And you said it got because it was unstopped.
A 3-yard touchdown run. And the Rams have come back to make it a 2-point game. Point after, right down the middle.
Okay, it's
This is
relevant.
now a 1-point game.
All 3 of us objected.
Not very often, thankfully. The police don't normally make charges
This one away,
on.
and off it goes. Oh, a good return up past the 30. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. We have seen a lot of points here in this
20
quarter.
to 30.
For us up here in the
Truly
booth, it's been fun to
unsolved.
watch. The defensive coordinators probably scratching their heads.
Yeah, they're going a little bit crazy right now, but let's face it, all of our friends who play fantasy, they're enjoying the heck out of this show because most of them are creating and getting a bunch of points.
Yeah, points certainly not at a premium here. From the 41, this is 2nd and a yard.
I did.
And did that include out this that?
And he'll be brought down just shy of
That is
midfield
correct.
at the 49-yard line. An entertaining start to this one. More
It
to
did.
come on EA
It
Sports.
did.
Did it include one out?
It did.
Did it include interviews people already?
It did.
And the
Back-to-back
those
good
of it,
plays have them on the move on 1st down.
RC file, 46.
Yes.
On 1st down, it's Benson. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. Now they contend with a 2nd and 12 after the loss.
And the judge intends to put him on the stand.
They'll go again with Benson. And he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him on the line. 3rd down, now even
But that's all the key traffic accumulated. As soon as we get to Sprinkle, we're going to skip ahead. The other big thing is because he's going to be on the stand today, they will possibly pause Mr. Sprinkling Crimes over here, so that way we can get right to Little Feet. So quick update, just let you guys know what to expect.
I did.
That's complete. And they'll get this to the 30-yard line before crossing over out of bounds. A big play there as they get the conversion on 3rd and 13. A give up the middle with Benson.
Yeah, exactly right, Danielle.
And a hard-working run here as he's got it inside the 20, down to the 17. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down.
Most of the damage has been done through the air. I mean, they've rung the bell 3 times.
I did. There was that video from the Mexico station.
Not been neglected. Nice little burst right there.
I'll do that.
The video from the Mexico station.
Looking to throw McCarthy.
Were you familiar with how it works?
Touchdown.
Look, I didn't, when you say system, I didn't receive the original recording apparatus. But the software, yes. Yes, I mean, I figured it out. I'm thinking of the video.
When you first got that, was that
Minnesota's kick team ready, and the Vikings move it away.
From what I recall,
and this will come out to the 30-yard line.
barbershop surveillance video is considerably more accurate than the video from, the Texaco station. Considerably more accurate than barbershop video. It's not entirely.
This drive here beginning
So,
probably
if
with
it's
a pair of
different,
motivated
how would
groups.
you
Remember,
make
the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out. Looking to repeat that in Charles' defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
So the frame center, there are certain parts of the frames that overlap. So in other words, so you had a camera at the barbershop that was capturing the screen, and you had a camera mounted over the Texaco that was also capturing that same screen, and the two cameras were capturing part of the same part of the screen. So if I saw something happening in one frame, I could just marry it up to the from the image caught by the other camera, and if I have, and that's how it would be able to download. So in other words, I wasn't using the timestamp to Glenn.
In this league, without a victory, it gets tough to come to work every day. You start to wonder about your job security as well.
A good pickup,
Stamp
17 yards.
was wonky, but even if the timestamp looks correct, it would still be abused.
So in the second quarter, he's already up over.
So I was mostly things that were constants to me were like vehicles driving by the scene or when gunshots rang. You know, I would look for that. So when the Texaco footage, I don't recall exactly. There was a blue car that came into the gas station. There was something that was captured on both cameras that I was able to use as a marking point to sync up the two pieces of footage.
And that puts the defense in a position to dictate to the
when you were
offense.
reviewing the Mexico, and you only looked at the time frame that you saw that article.
No, I particularly
Field now.
as I continue my review, I have looked at 30 or 40 minutes
A
of work.
misconnection there. Just 50% of his passes thus far. That's not where you want to be.
Now you see the evolution of the game. You go back to the quarterbacks of old, 50% would be terrific because they threw the ball downfield almost every time they threw it. Now with a short passing game, you should be above 60% just to be in the average range.
Trying to find Cup, but it's intercepted. Buda Baker with a pick. And the Vikings will have the football as this is taken up past the 30.
I did.
Trying to resurrect his confidence. Last week was a disaster. 5 interceptions in that loss, and another pick there.
I played with a quarterback like this before, and he had a tough game, and the head coach said, I'll take him, I'll fix him. The very next game, he started out the exact same way.
Without getting into, so there was an event that occurred on the video. First thing was that I was looking for something specifically that, based on other evidence in the case, I'll just keep it broad or general here, based on other evidence in the case I suspected I was going to see on the video. And then as I watched the video during that time frame, I did in fact see what I thought I was going to see. I did. And it was a vehicle specifically. There was a certain vehicle, and when I saw it, based on other things that I'd seen, and specifically I'm talking about social media records, photos, and cell phone power data, I thought this person, I wonder if this person is at the gas station. And when I looked at the footage, I said, oh, well, I recognize that vehicle. And then as I continued to watch the footage, I recognized one of the people that was inside, the passenger in that vehicle, because that person walked into the store. And they got close to the camera, and because they were close to an interior surveillance camera on a well-lit store, I was able to see their face. And then as other things happened around this vehicle that I recognized in the footage, complete investigative task to figure out who the other people were. I already knew who one of the people was, the person that was driving the vehicle, or I had a strong suspicion to who was driving the vehicle. I was looking for based on cell phone records and social media photos and videos. So I already knew right when I saw it. I had a pretty good idea. I knew for a fact who one of the person was. The person who was driving the vehicle, I had a pretty good idea.
All right.
Good spot on the field to go for it. Kind of no man's land, as
now,
they call it, and it worked out.
What
yeah,
vehicle
no man's land because your punter is telling you it's too short.
2002 Pontiac Bonneville.
Field goal kicker might give you a little
Gray.
raised eyebrow. Might be too far for the field goal, so it gives you a great chance to go for it. Personally, if you have these tendencies to be aggressive as a head coach, you're going to like this spot because it gives you the decision to go ahead and go for it when you want to anyway.
Here's 2nd and 10.
Oh, John, if I'll figure that.
Now McCarthy. He's got his man. It's taken in for a Viking touchdown. Trent Sherfield, 35 yards. And the Vikings have taken a 2-touchdown lead now. Extra point right down the middle. And the lead is up to 15 now.
Were you looking for?
What is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away?
There was one particular great Pontiac Bonneville that I was interested in, yeah.
Now a hit and a loose football. And it looks like the defense has got it. And they will take over.
Either belonged to or is associated with a man named Forrest Bradford. Tuda, T-U-D-A.
Here's McCarthy. Catch is made by Hawkinson, the tight end. And down inside the 15 he goes. 12 yards there, first down Vikings. Throwing is McCarthy.
Well, I just searched for him on, but probably on Facebook first, particularly back then it was easier. And I either found him or a family member on Facebook, and then browsing the family members' profiles. And this may not be exactly how I did it, because I don't recall exactly how I found Mr. Bradford's Instagram page. But somehow or another through, because on Instagram it went by _living_great at the time. And so basically I'm probably starting at Facebook, finding family members, fanning out, and then on finding him on Facebook, finding maybe where he screenshot an Instagram page, pasted it to his Facebook. That would be how I would have found his Instagram somehow. And then, and like I said, his Instagram name is I'm_living_great.
And did he have himself depicted in that Instagram?
Going for it, here's McCarthy. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Jeff Smith, a 14-yard touchdown. And the Vikings are able to widen their lead here in this
Yes, it was a 2002 Pontiac Bonneville.
Point after, right down the middle.
It was.
And the lead opens up now to 22 points.
Did you ever discern or gain a number or phone number?
I did, pretty early on.
Where did you get the phone number from?
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this
I
one
testified
away.
previously about how I...
And a pretty poor return as he will dive to the...
Yeah, that was something I said like earlier.
No.
The fact that I just tell the jury.
No, I'm talking about like previous testimony, like a few minutes. All right. So one of the ways that I find jail calls is I go through phone records that I had in the case, and in this case I had some phone records, and I don't recall whose phone records it was exactly, but I just started running numbers from that appeared in the phone.